Hi, welcome to be here for totally the first time ever. I have not seen you ever before. Yes?
Never. No.
Never. Nah.
We haven't totally recorded this once before.
No, we never. I would never lie to my audience.
No.
And you would never too. That's
Absolutely not.
that.
No.
That's
The audio wasn't completely messed up the first time. Not even the slightest. What first time? This is the first time.
Yeah, exactly. What are you talking about, man? I couldn't
I don't
even
know.
English.
I think.
Either way, why don't you start introducing yourself? I know who you are, but like, why don't you introduce yourself to people who don't know who you are?
All right. Well, hi everybody. I'm Solstin. I do vintage story videos on YouTube. Been doing YouTube for quite a while, on and off content creation, but recently started doing vintage story, and it's been pretty darn good.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that it's been doing pretty darn good. What's the subscriber count right now?
Oh, last I checked, it was just a little over 6,500, which is insane to me because I was sitting at like 740 ish for probably a good 8-9 years solid.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah, 6,550 at this current moment.
so 6,500.
6,550.
Yeah, dude, nice.
Yeah,
I can't
so
wait
it's been
until
a
you
huge
reach.
jump.
Yeah, I'm glad for you. I can't wait until you reach 10K. That we're both in a 10K club.
It's surprisingly not as far off as I thought it was ever going to be. So who knows? Maybe I'd say probably by the end of the year or before then. I don't know. Conservative
You never know.
estimate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. But like, you do let's plays, but you don't do let's plays traditionally. We talked about this previously, but maybe you can give a more refined version of it now, because you don't do traditional let's plays in the way that you just film what you're doing and that's it, right?
Yeah. So I mean, there's two different styles of Let's Plays that people typically come across. And that one is you hit record, you play for however, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever, and then boom, you've got that one solid shot, no cuts. Or there's the opposite end where it's the typical Minecraft video where, hey guys, I'm going to build 20,000 things in an ender farm. And it's just high energy, like go, go, go all the time.
Yeah.
I kind of land somewhere in the middle of that. There's a little bit of cinematography to it. There's a slower pace than the kind of super bombastic style, but a lot more editing and cuts go in to it than just a single cut type of style. So it's kind of a little blend. I initially was planning on doing the whole uncut type of thing, but I don't know. As I was going through, it's like, oh well, there's some dead air here. I'll just snip that out. Oh, there's another chunk there. Yeah, I'll snip that out. Oh, I don't need to show collecting 40 cattails or whatever. Let's just cut that into a little montage shot there, and it just kind of spiraled out of control from there to the point where it's developed into its own little amalgamative style, and then add a little bit of voice acting in here and there too.
Yeah, the voice acting is what originally made me more interested, because I think I requested something Warhammer 40K ish.
Yes, which I actually had to look up because I'm not as familiar with 40K as a lot of 40K fans. I have a passing knowledge of it. I have an old army of orcs from like one of the first, well, not one of the first starter kits, but one of the starter kits back from like the early to mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Half of it's built.
Yeah. I remember you telling me this. I still find it an absolute shame.
I mean, I'll get to it one day. Although I've been saying that for since what, 2005, 2006. So
oh, I couldn't even speak English at that point. Either way, we'll touch upon that a little bit later. But first, you focus on Vintage Story, right? I played Vintage Story. I liked it. How did you get into contact with Vintage Story? Like, what's your exposure to it?
Well, I was running a Minecraft server, and for those of you who are coming here from Vintage Story, I'm so sorry that I'm saying the swear word. There's a joke ongoing in the basically the community of the game where it's Minecraft is just the other block game because it needs no introduction. It's kind of one of the biggest games in the world right now.
Yeah.
I don't think it's been dethroned, but anyway.
Nope.
I was running a server. playing with a bunch of buddies, and one of my friends came one day and said, "Hey, you go into the really technical, granular stuff with Redstone. This game looks like the whole thing is technical and granular. Let's check it out."
And was
So
it?
it scratched an itch I didn't know I had.
Yes.
Yeah. Like Redstone was one thing because that's just an engineering problem to solve.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, solving that engineering problem means copy a YouTube tutorial. But
Yep, I do.
yeah, because there's only one way to do it perfectly efficiently. But yeah, then tried it out. A few of us were playing on a server for a while, and it just kind of spiraled into a little bit of an addiction for a bit. And then
Just a little bit.
from there, just a little bit.
Just a
Only,
little addiction.
another full-time job, basically.
That- just
Of
a little
only-
addiction.
Yeah, only 40 to 50 hours a week.
Ah,
minimum.
dude, that's nothing. Gotta up those. That's rookie numbers. I
Yeah.
work that amount, man. What the fuck?
Yeah. But after a while, I wasn't going on the server quite as much because I made a little creative test world and just started practicing chiseling. And I probably put a good 200 hours minimum into that world, just building things up. And that actually became the world where the first Temporal Institute set was. Because I was just trying to build like, oh, let's build a little science lab, see what it looks like. Just trying to test out modern-ish builds. And then that whole idea just spawned from there.
Yeah, I can see that it spiraled a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like me coming from the Minecraft community, you being Vintage Stories, I wouldn't say most successful YouTuber. Actually,
No, I wouldn't go quite that far.
one of
I
the
know-
most ones, I think, at least. Give me a second. Oh,
Weirdly, yeah.
if I look up Vintage Story, right?
My face is plastered all over the place.
Basically,
Although
yeah.
that might be skewed by your own search results. I don't know.
Okay,
I know
yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna record. I can't record a second screen, but I'll take a screenshot of it. I'm going into incognito mode.
Okay.
And I'm going to.
Just to get an unbiased view of it.
Yes. So I'm going to YouTube. I'm not logged in. I even have white background. I'm even getting ads. I hate this. I hate this. I'm getting ads. Okay,
That's
so if
terrible.
I look up Vintage Story, right?
Yeah.
I get a review. I get the 100 days from Oscilloscope, and then I get you
He's got
with
a
the
few of them.
100 days of Solstin. You are
I'm
the
surprised.
yeah. Sorry, go on.
I'm surprised the video by Secret Foxfire didn't come up as one of
Yeah.
the first, because that one's got
Oh,
the
dude.
most views out of any Vintage Story video.
Almost
as far
a
as
million.
I'm aware. Yeah, which is that's so strange to me because I looked at his channel. I thought he was way bigger than he was. But
Yeah.
apparently that's the only video of his that really took off, and then he just kind of stopped. So I don't know what happened in that regard.
I
but
think he mentioned that he stopped making videos because he lost interest. But yeah,
I guess he didn't expect that was going to take off the way it did.
No. And trust me,
Yeah.
when you have one big hitter and the rest kind of middling, it's kind of like,
That can
what am
definitely
I
be disheartening.
Yeah, what am I doing wrong? But we'll touch upon that YouTube stuff later. Like Secret Foxfire's video, that was also the keystone for me where I got into it, because I was at work. I had my headphones on. If somebody from that work is hearing this, shut the fuck up. Anyway, because you're not allowed to wear headphones during work. But I had my headphones in, and I was like listening to this. I was doing an extra shift, and like a friend of mine sent this, and I was like, okay, I got like the next 1 hour of doing nothing. I'll watch it. And then I spent like 2 hours watching it. It's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I spent like an hour and a half watching it. And then I would spend another hour and a half rewatching it. My machine was not doing anything for the remainder of that night. Right. And I
Yeah.
got home. I had to
boy.
buy it and I had to play it at that moment.
I'd already been playing for a little bit by the time I came across that video.
Oh, dude, that's so good.
But I actually, the videos that really kind of helped me get into it even more so than just my initial bumbling through and trying to figure it out myself, was actually Kurazar's Survival Guide Season 2, or
Yep.
Vintage Story Guide Season 2.
Yes. I see that here
Yeah.
too. 85 videos. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, I that
Wait,
that
that
one.
me? Me with
No,
85 videos?
the Vintage
Okay.
Story Guide.
Oh yeah, he's got there's a season 1, season 2.
Yes.
Check him out, he's great. But there's a lot of other vintage story YouTubers out there, and I don't know, there's a lot of them that are doing pretty decently.
Yeah, I mean, we all know the Minecraft YouTubers, but we don't really see other blog games. Like you have, of course, you have
Yeah.
Hypixel.
Well, that's not even out yet, is it?
No, it's not. No,
There will be
no.
Hypixel YouTubers at
There
one
is
point.
already a Minecraft YouTubers, Hypixel YouTuber sphere, and no, not Hypixel. It's Hightail YouTuber sphere, and the only
Oh,
thing they
that's it,
do
right.
is like every month there's a blog post, and the only thing they do is like read the blog post 6 times a week.
Oh, that's
It's
unfortunate.
sad. It's just sad. Sorry, that game is never
Yeah.
coming out. It's never coming out.
I mean, it might one day, but I don't think it's going to live up to the hype.
No,
It's like what's that one? Star Citizen?
Starfield? Oh yeah, Star Citizen as well. Starfield, same
Yeah,
thing.
that's the one that's been in Kickstarter for like over a decade, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's still not out, and you have to buy ships that are like thousands of bucks in order to play it.
Yeah.
Have you? Are you familiar with the game Kenshi?
No.
Oh,
I live under a bit of a rock.
No, you don't. It's an indie title. It was under
Okay.
development for 12 years, I want to say,
That's a
and then it released, and then it
Yeah.
was like one of the most in-depth RPG type deals. It's a
Okay.
very brutal game because you start off with level 1 in everything, like combat wise and carrying wise and
Yeah.
level wise, while the rest is at least level 20. So even like a
Okay.
hungry bandit that only has like scars, a scarf around his body and starving can kick the shit out of you.
So you start as basically someone who's never fought a day in their life, suddenly thrust into a world of violence.
Imagine if you just spontaneously came into existence and the only thing you have is a rusty stick. That's Kenshi. And it's very brutal. But that game was also 12 years in development and actually succeeded its hype because it was kind of an indie success at the time. But I don't think Hightail will do that kind of stuff. Like,
Well, as far as I'm aware, Tyron, who's the original kind of founder of Vintage Story, he was part of the Hightail
Yeah.
dev team at one point and then left for creative differences. Yeah.
yes, he's mentioned that in an interview I did with him. Yeah,
Yeah. You'd be a little bit more familiar because I've never actually spoken to the man myself.
I only via email. Although I'm also like trying to get him on the podcast now. But
You hear that, Tyron? Get on here. Come
get on here, buddy. It's fun. I just dropped all my paintbrushes and I fucked up the first recording. Anyway, I'm totally professional, man.
We're so professional.
Oh, dude, it's so professional. I'm having you on if Tyrone comes on. By the way, you're the vintage story expert now.
Oh my god. Oh, expert. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I just chisel a lot of things.
Sounds like you sound like one of those blue collar workers where like the boss goes, and this is the expert in this, and they're like, oh, I just do this a lot. Yeah, that means you're an expert, buddy.
I just work at my desk every day.
Yeah.
Man.
I'll boot daddy. Anyway,
Oh,
that
for
was
sure.
I love that.
Canadian.
Canadian. Yeah. Yeah. No. So I really hope Vintage Story takes off more. Like
That would be great. That's been my hope that there's going to be kind of more draw toward the game itself, not just for some selfish reason of like, oh, I want more views, I want more money.
yeah.
No, I just think it's a game that deserves the attention. I know the development team, they want it to be a slow and steady thing so they have time to build things up before the hype gets too big around the game. But I think it's definitely it's starting to pick up in popularity.
Yeah, I see that.
There's been a lot more of an uptick.
I'm actually gonna get Google Trends in here.
Oh, just to see in general how many more people have been searching for it. That's a good idea. I haven't actually taken the time to look that up.
Luckily, you're talking to a journalist.
There we go.
They're a journalist who sucks at his job, though. But whatever.
Hey, some people just work in a differently structured way.
That's true. So, for some reason, okay, it doesn't really have. Why is it in Japan, worldwide? For some reason, at one, yeah, there's like an uptick, yeah.
Okay. When did that uptick start? Out of curiosity.
That's a good. Oof. Let me check actually on YouTube, right? The uptick. No idea actually. Doesn't really say
Okay.
it. Doesn't really say when it started. There's just like sporadically someone will Google it.
Okay.
It's not as big as Minecraft, but it's by design. Again,
No.
they want to grow
Yeah.
their community at a slow pace and like make sure. I don't think they're like doing the whole I'm guiding the community. They're more like we're gonna engage with people that we know are good for the community. Not in the way of like
Yeah.
they're only talking good about us, but they are doing positive stuff with the community. They are engaged with the community. Like
Yeah.
to pull it back to my expertise, the thing you see in Minecraft is that a lot of the big names either don't have communication with Mojang, or Mojang just doesn't want to like talk to content creators that much. They do in some
Well, there
cases.
was there was a thing. Wasn't Green involved in like the 15th anniversary video for Minecraft?
Yes, but that's something
Yeah.
different because you can't ignore Dream.
No, Green.
Green? Oh,
Yeah,
oopsie.
he was involved in it. Yeah. I don't think Mojang would associate
No, no,
themselves with
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I
Dream.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Don't come after me, Dream fans.
They will.
I'm
Dream
fragile. I'll
stands.
cry.
I'll cry too, man. We'll cry together. No, but there are some people in the community you can't ignore. Like when Technoblade died.
That was
Sorry,
a big deal. Yeah.
he never dies. But
No.
when he passed, even Mojang made an acknowledgement. Like he was a big part of the community. I think
Yeah.
that's the best thing anyone in that community has ever done. Like that sphere of friends has ever done was the talking about Technoblade and keeping him alive part. That was the best.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you watched that video, but it was pretty.
I don't think I have, but I've seen a bunch of things just in passing and
It's
occasionally clicked on them because I never really followed a whole bunch of different creators.
mm,
Even when I was watching Minecraft content, there was just a few here and there.
yeah,
Um, but there's a passing knowledge of him, and
yeah.
yeah, definitely there was a lot of people coming together over that.
Yeah, true. But to get back on topic, the way sorry, it's fine. The way that Vintage Story handles it is better than the way Minecraft handles it and Mojang handles it because we have
Direct contact.
that, and there's also like so many people who know what Minecraft is. Everybody knows what Minecraft is. You can't really like engage with enough people to
Yeah.
do what Vintage Story does and like keep it in a healthy way, because Mojang has allowed it to slip into the unhealthy thing, partly because they overpromise some stuff, but also partly because
Yeah.
they don't
They're
ever
owned by Microsoft.
they owned by Microsoft. No, fuck off. They don't ever respond to anything. They
Yeah.
just responded to a lot of like criticism on like a YouTube series they did, and that was very positive. But Vintage Story does that on a daily basis
Yeah. Well,
because
and
they
also
are.
incorporate feedback directly into the development cycle of
Yes.
the game. And sometimes even then, if a mod gets super popular, they've been incorporating those into the base game itself, which, as far as I'm aware, Mojang only did once, and that was with horses.
Yes. Well, technically, there's no. Yeah. Well, it licensing, because I don't. Is our mods open source? Vintage Story is fully
Vintage
open
Story,
source, right?
I believe it is fully open source. Mainly because the modding tools were developed by the dev team
Okay.
to work with the game. So if you're
Okay.
making a mod for it, I believe you're using their own tools to do
Okay.
it.
Yeah. The reason why Minecraft can't really do that is because you're not using standard Mojang stuff. You're using
Yeah.
Forge
You're just
or
doing JavaScript. Yeah.
well Java code, and you're using
Yeah.
an external mod loader to load it into the game, and those have different mappings and types and stuff, and that doesn't work. If
The
Mojang
legality gets a little
The legality is one thing because it's open source licenses. If you just take that and like put it in your game and like license it, that's an issue. Because I think that's protected under OpenGL. No, OpenGL. What the fuck am I saying?
Yeah, OGL is for TTRPGs.
Yeah, I think it's protected under the Open Commons. I think it was, but it's not Open Commons. That's
Creative Commons.
No, Creative Commons is only for videos and essays and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not knowledgeable enough.
No, me neither.
No.
Anyway, that speculation aside, I think what Vintage Story is doing right now is going to lead to very, very good success, not only financially but just in like a community. Because there have been some negative videos about Vintage Story, but they have always been polite. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even the ones that have had kind of clickbaity titles, usually by the end of it, there is a bit of a positive spin to it. I find just in general, like the audience that gets drawn in for anything Vintage Story is typically slightly older.
Yep, maturity.
I think my regular demographic is anywhere from 18 to 75. I don't think to 75. Yes.
Grandpa's watching Vintage Story.
There's some YouTubers out there that are like they're retired and they're doing their Let's Plays.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
because it does kind of hit that niche for like the homesteading communities, a whole bunch of different kind of subcategories of interests all seem to converge with Vintage Story. So it draws in people of all ages, just not so much kids as much because it's not bright and colorful and super fast paced. It's a very slow and methodical game where you have to just work hard for every single step.
It's a slow burn, but it's rewarding. Yeah. That's the thing. It's much more rewarding
at times.
Yes, it is. It just plainly is. All right.
Yeah.
It is just if you have to work for something. There is so I'm gonna go to Warhammer again. As you can see, I play Leagues of Votann. They have a saying which is that luck gives. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna look this up because I wanna make sure that it's like luck gives need.
I don't know if that's picking up on the recording, but my cats are just going ape upstairs. They're just running around, jumping off of things.
It's not on the recording, but okay. It's fine. My cats are also doing their stuff. So the saying in Votann is that luck has, need keeps, toil earns. You know what I mean? And I think that perfectly sums it up. In Minecraft, you just go down, you just mine a bunch of time, and you find diamonds. Hooray, huzzah. In Vintage Story, you have to fucking find a copper vein. You have to smelt that copper. You need to first learn how to make clay pots. You need to make an anvil. You need to make a hammer. You need not in a crafting menu because that's too easy. You need to like run around, get like 2 sticks, and then like smelt that sticks with like no. You need to smelt the can you make a stone hammer? No, you need to make iron, right?
No, it has to be just metal of any kind.
Any metal,
smelt one, just from like pouring copper into a mold.
Yeah, mold.
I think a prime example of just the difference in how long things take is making a set of iron armor.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, in Minecraft, what you go down, you get
30 minutes.
Yeah, not even. I mean, it depends. If there's an iron vein right there, okay, you get 8 pieces of cobblestone, make a furnace, smelt your iron, put it in your crafting grid, boom, you have a full set of iron armor.
21 iron ingots is all you need, baby.
Yeah. Whereas in Vintage Story, you're going to need first, you need to go hunt some animals, skin them for their pelts. Before the pelts rot, because they'll start to rot, you have to then find some lime or chalk, make lime water, put them in there, then move them into a barrel of weak tannin, then strong tannin. So you get leather. Now you have to make yourself a set of leather armor. That's your base.
Yep.
Then with your iron, once you mine it up, cook it in bloomeries, take those iron blooms, work them on an anvil down into ingots. Take 2 ingots, work it down into a plate, turn that plate into a chain. You're going to need 18 of those. Slap that on the leather. Do the same thing again, but for 18 more plates. That's 36 ingots. And if you have all the resources ready, I don't know, several hours of processing and crafting time. There's mods that can speed it up, but
Yes, but that's not the true intended
No.
TM way.
it is several in-game days once you've acquired all the resources. Just the processing
Oh,
takes
yeah.
so long. Which, at a first glance, that sounds like, oh, that's terrible and tedious. Who would ever want to do that? Trust me, once you do it,
Oh yeah.
there's a weird tingle in the back of your
Oh, yeah.
brain, little neurons firing off, and it's addictive.
It's nicotine. This game is a cigarette. You will spend way too much time in the cold for no other reason than scratching that itch.
Just don't let your parents find out you're doing it, or they'll tell you to smelt a whole carton of copper.
Vintage story. It's nicotine. Anyway, yeah, no, that's true. Like the satisfaction you get with Vintage Story is something else, and it's not only tedium because you can't just set those values when you spawn the world, right? You can make it easier on yourself or download that mod. It's
You can have a mod for the Helve Hammer to make anything you can do on an anvil, and then you just set it down there, and the hammer does it automatically as long as you have a windmill.
The only criticism I have is the blooms. If you don't have a Helve Hammer, a bloom is
It takes a little bit. In my current playthrough in the Eisenholm series, I haven't made a windmill yet. So I don't have a Helve Hammer. I've been doing all of my smelting or smithing by hand. I need to make a windmill. I have like 20 or more candles and I need lanterns.
If the next video isn't I made the largest windmill in Vintage Story.
It's not. I don't want to build actually I might have to build a temporary one.
Yeah, dude.
Just for a Helve Hammer, take it down and then build it where I want it.
For all I care, just make it off screen. Just don't mention I hit my hello.
Hello.
Okay, I'll cut that out. Okay. I won't. Just like for all I care, make it off screen. Don't ever show it. Just say like I hammered all these iron. You're not lying. You're technically, excuse me. You're technically using the Helve Hammer, and then just I'm making the largest windmill in Vintage Story, and then like boom, instant 1 million. Mark my words.
But okay, here's the thing. You underestimate how perceptive the audience is.
That's true.
There will be a single pixel of it shown in the background of a single frame at one point, and someone's gonna be like, I see you have a 27 block tall windmill right there. You've only got 4 out of the possible windmill rotors that you could have on there. So you're getting this much torque and this much speed. And it's like, how do you know all these things? There was one clip that I had of my little like between the episodes montages where there was maybe a second and a half of me pouring a tin bronze anvil.
Yeah.
And from that, someone was able to deduce that like, you only smelted 9 ingots worth, so you're missing out on 1/16 of an ingot of tin bronze. You could have gotten more efficient if you had done 10 and used less tin. And I'm like,
what the fuck?
One, that's you're not wrong, but 2,
you're kind of weird.
How do you know this? How?
Bro had this in the back of his mind primed, and then went like Leonardo DiCaprio, like up.
Yeah. That's why there's never a time where I'd ever even think of spawning anything in. One, it would ruin the fun for me.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah. If I have to spend an extra 10 hours on an episode just because I want to do all the mining legitimately, okay, so be it. I'll do it. Because I just know if someone's going to be perceptive enough that, not enough time had passed for you to physically be able to do this.
Yeah,
someone will
exactly.
pick up on it.
Well, it also just ruins the magic for you, right? Because I think you find some enjoyment out of this series.
Oh, too much, yeah. I just wish that I had more time to actually be able to play, record, and edit. It's
don't we all?
It's tricky with a busy schedule, adult life.
Yeah,
but it's rewarding when I do get to work on it.
I mean, you don't have kids yet, right?
No.
Okay.
No. Just cats.
I feel you. Okay, so I have 2 cats. They both have 8s. Yeah, only 2. They both have 8s. They're massively obese. Yeah, one is 10 kilograms, and they should be weighing around 3 maximum.
Wow.
Yeah. So he yeah,
like just a little round boy.
So we have we have this situation where there's leg, and belly.
Oh, it's like a little duster on the floor.
Oh yeah, my floor is never
boy.
dusty except when it is.
Oh,
They both have AIDS because we adopted them because they had AIDS and they were gonna get like killed. The issue is that
rescue
one of
cat.
them stopped shitting in the litter box.
Oh no. Just decided to,
Yeah,
or
no. So they both like to bully each other to the point that at one point I was editing, right? And I'm living
Yeah.
on the first floor. And there's like a window that can open, and they like to sit on the like little, what is it, like the stone that sticks out from under the thing so that the window has something to support on, and it's
Yeah.
not like raw brick, you know, it's like the detailing stuff.
like the windowsill. Yeah.
The windowsill, exactly. And they like to sit on the outside. But Ozzy, my second cat, is a little bit scared. Like he gets startled very often because he was a street cat and stuff. And Theo knows that, and he bullies him with it. Like legitimately, he bullies him with it. So he was sitting there, like just gently watching, and Theo walked up behind him and like smacked him on his ass. So he did a flip
Scared the shit
forward.
out of him.
Yeah, he did
Oh.
a flip forward, landed down at the like 1 story down. But I didn't know that. All I heard was meow, and then I didn't know where my cat was for the next 3 hours.
Oh, was he
I
okay?
yeah, it was fine. The only reason I found out was because Theo did the exact same thing the next day.
Oh, jeez. What an
But the reason he stopped shitting in the litter box is because he doesn't want to shit where Theo shits. So I clean out this litter box regularly, but lately I didn't have much time, and I noticed that right after I cleaned out Ozzy's litter box, Theo takes a shit in it because he knows he won't be shitting in it.
Yeah. What I'd probably recommend for that is always have one litter box per cat plus an extra one.
A lot of people tell me that, but 3 litter boxes, I have to like have a lot of sand.
Yeah, that's, I know that pain very well.
Yep.
We actually just earlier today we started the process of one by one. We took it outside, drained out all the sand, hosed and scrubbed it down just to
Oh
like
my
clean
god.
it. We've got one of those the rotating ones, so you rotate it, the clean sand goes through.
Does that work?
It does, yeah. And then you rotate like up and over, and it all goes down and around into the scoop. You pull out the scoop, dump it, then you tilt it the other way. The clean sand goes back in. You just fill up whatever's missing. And
It's a non-electrical one, right?
no, because we like to do it manually, so you can check and see like, oh, is there like blood in the poop?
Yeah.
You keep track of the pet's health and see if any of them are having the runs or anything. So
Yeah, well,
but it's kind of automatic, kind of manual. It's quicker than just using a scoop and sifting through it.
well, we're gonna buy like an electrical one because I don't have the time. And these are older cats with AIDS, so like any sickness and they're just like gone. You know, like I love them dearly,
Yeah,
but like the smallest thing and they're done.
that's the unfortunate thing with an older sick cat. Yeah.
Well, they're 7 and 3. Like Ozzy's not showing any
Oh.
signs. Theo
Yeah.
is obviously not showing signs because the signs only start when you're 6. So the only sign that Ozzy has is like a dry nose, but that's can also be genetically.
A lot of cats can have just a dry nose.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very odd. Anyway, I don't know why
went
we
on a
started
huge cat
talking
tangent.
about cat. Anyway, if you ever have a cat that doesn't shit in his litter box, just buy a third one, or do what I do. I sprinkle catnip on it. I just sprinkle a little
Catnip.
catnip.
Here you go, guys. Drugs. Now,
Yeah.
poo.
They have like. Speaking of drugs, how was your first? No, how was your first temporal storm? How did you experience that?
Okay, first one. So the first temporal storm ever, or first
Yeah.
in Unknown Home? First
No,
ever.
no, ever. Like how? What
Okay.
was your reaction?
So it's actually, there's a little bit of a story to this.
Oh boy.
This was the impetus for coming up with the boiler room.
Oh
Was my
boy.
experience through the first temporal storm. So we had was it Visecraft or whatever mod that gives you airships.
Yeah.
on the server that I was playing on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we were thousands upon thousands of blocks away. We were looking for borax because God help us, we couldn't find borax. I think we ended up looking probably about a good 5 to 10,000 blocks in all 4 cardinal directions and a little bit diagonally. Not
Yeah.
a single whiff of it.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
Real unfortunate. Couldn't make an iron anvil. So we were just way out there digging around in some caves. First temporal storm I ever experienced kicks in. Wasn't a good time. So we hold ourselves up in a little like 2 by 2, or like a little maybe like.
But
yeah,
did
two
you
by
know what
two
it
room.
was?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was forewarned about it.
Okay.
But we hold ourselves up in there, and we're just hearing dozens of drifters outside. I think it was a heavy because the server had been
Oh.
going for a bit before I came in, and I was just coincidentally not
Oh.
online when the storms would hit. Because I would, and there was a couple times I could have been, but I specifically logged out minutes before it started, just so it'd be somebody else's problem. Because I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't want to deal with it. So the
Yeah.
first one I actually went through in this little bunker, we're sitting there just waiting for it to end because they last what 10, 15 actual minutes.
Yeah, they
It
last
feels like it
long.
anyway.
Yeah. Felt like an
And
hour first time.
yeah. And while we're sitting there, I just start descending into my old, like crazy old man voice. And being fresh off of Minecraft, it's like, this is the hell we have wrought upon ourselves. We would torture the denizens of the village, have them summon their guardians only to smelt their corpses down to fuel our machinations. Was this worth the cost of hoppers?
That's shockingly good.
It went on like that almost the entirety of the temporal storm. My buddy's just pissing his pants laughing. And after that, I was like, okay, I don't know how dangerous these things actually are, but I'm not great at combat. And I have no armor yet. There's a hot spring. Huh. Let's play around with those mechanics. And then I
Oh
tested
boy.
it out in a creative world, and the first boiler room came to be. That was actually the first vintage story video I uploaded. Was
Yeah.
how to build that, because that was, it's like, no one's made any technical builds. Let's try this. And then 11 days after I uploaded it, they updated the game so you couldn't move boiling water with a bucket anymore, which killed the design.
Yep. Little bit.
So, yeah, I
I
had to almost
actually
immediately make a version 2.
I recently saw the third part of it because I don't really do technical vintage story. Who the fuck does
That's
technical vintage story? But
only this guy and
yeah.
the Odd Ape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the odd ape, right.
Yeah. He's got the pig sorter.
Yes. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and attempt this on the next vintage story playthrough that we do.
Yeah.
Something just fell. Did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah. I think your room's haunted.
Dude, don't fucking say that. My Warhammer poster. My Warhammer Rogue Trader poster, like the old one.
Okay. I don't think that's got any sort of ominous
No,
meaning behind
it
it.
fell
So I
on
think
my
we're good.
girlfriend. It fell on my girlfriend's Warhammer figurines.
Symbolism? Probably not.
I mean, she's not
Probably
here.
just the wind.
Yeah. What wind?
I don't know. That indoor wind.
Oh yeah, the famous Belgian indoor wind. Right, I forgot that was here.
That kind of indoor wind.
Oh no, I didn't fart. You would have
well.
heard if I farted.
One day.
Anyway, fart tangent aside, one day.
Yeah.
No, but I am planning on doing a boiler room build in my
It's pretty
next.
compact.
The
version
newest
3
one,
is
yeah,
a lot smaller. Yeah.
it's good because the second one I wouldn't
think
even
so.
attempt it.
No, the second one, I think I went a little above and beyond it, or overboard on engineering it, and it wasn't as efficient because you're not in the center, so it's not drawing them all in. You had to
No,
run around.
true.
Even then, wasn't perfect.
Well, the thing is, you were warned about your first temporal storm. I wasn't.
Yes. Oh no.
I was playing with a bastard known as Willox, and I know he's watching, so fuck you, Willox. He didn't warn me.
I don't know.
He was just like, "Oh, it's nothing. Just keep playing." I gotta do like some chores. He never has to do chores.
Man.
I'm gonna do some chores. I'll be right back. So I'm sitting there alone in the
Leaves you
village.
alone.
Yep. Nazuri is like out. Naomi is like out. Everybody's out the village. I'm in my smithy, and it hits.
Yeah.
I had like a dirt hut. I was like, guys, guys, what the fuck? And I type in the chat because
Responding inside.
it's I was listening to music, and like
Yeah.
because Willox went away when the message appeared, and he didn't come back, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to music while I'm doing like pottery, because I was doing pottery at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, guys, what the fuck is this? And like the text goes all and meanwhile everything's going LSD wavy on me, and I'm like, well, am I having a bad trip? Like I
Wait, does
did
the text go. The text
yeah,
goes weird. During
yeah.
a temporal storm?
If you type during a temporal storm, it goes weird. It has like
don't think I have.
characters, and it like moves. Next time, even in single
Learn
player,
something new every day.
try it. Try it. Like
Okay.
it does like the weird. It even moves a little bit. If it really if it's like peak temporal
Heavy,
storm, it
yeah.
moves a little bit. It's
I
fucked.
guess I've never tried typing. I've always been in a voice call or just by myself. I've never needed to type during a storm.
Well,
Okay.
well, you need to try that next time you have a storm.
Yeah. I've got to, yeah.
Yeah, it was very disturbing. But again, fuck you, Willox, for doing that to me. I was shitting my pants, and everybody was silent. You know, like nobody else was like, yeah, that's this and that. Because I asked 6 times. I was
They
like,
were
what
in
is
on
it? Yeah, they were.
They knew.
They keep doing
Yep.
this. Because another game, Eco, there's like this hardest to break block, which was like 6 hits to block to break it, right? For one
Yeah.
block. And the guy was like, oh, I'll pay you 5. And Willox was like, oh, I'll pay you 500 credits to like dig out my basement. I was like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. I come on, and it's
Just
like that
all of
block. Yeah, I spent 5 days, 5 real life days
That's terrible.
for $500. That's not
It sounds
even.
like he's got you good a couple times now.
Yes, he did. He did.
Yeah.
He got me good a few times, and I will rip his Scandinavian balls clean of his fucking body. Anyway, it's like an inside joke at this point, but yeah. But speaking of like your YouTube videos, like the Boiler Room was your first, then you did your Let's Play stuff. Is there anything new you're planning aside from the Eisenhorn?
Well, I did actually after the Boiler Room. I started with the Temporal Institute series. Because that was kind of the culmination of all that chiseling practice.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be like a tutorial series of familiarizing yourself with the game mechanics. Which I've done the first 2 episodes, and it's been like 8 months, maybe 9 at this point since episode 2 dropped. So I started doing. That's a lot longer than I thought. I started doing the Eisenholm series because when I upgraded my computer, I accidentally lost all my saves.
Oh my god.
Didn't back up the saves folder before wiping the old C drive.
Oh my god.
Yep. I backed up my Minecraft saves for some reason. I backed up a lot of other things. Backed up all the mods and everything for Vintage Story. Did not back up the saves folder. I thought they were saved in a different hard drive. So, much to my dismay, lost that. So I had to start rebuilding the Temporal Institute sets, one of which is this behind me.
It's a very nice set. I gotta give you that one.
Thank you. I used a photo reference. This is like the Ontario Science Center or something like that I used
I'll
for
have a
photo.
reference on the screen.
Yeah. It's pretty decent approximation of it. But basically, as I was starting to rebuild those sets, I was like, oh, I spent so long. I don't even remember how long it took to actually build the sets. I have screenshots, luckily.
Good.
So I started Eisenholm as a way to fill in the time between Temporal Institute episodes. And then the first episode started to just skyrocket. Like, I was used to getting maybe like 100 views was good for me. But the first Boiler Room, I think, got in the first 2 weeks about 13,000 views.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I was like, I haven't uploaded in, I think it had been 5 years at that point. I'm like, how is this taking off? Okay. Temporal Institute was getting like 500-600. I think it hit 1,000 before I started doing Eisenholm. They're better now. I think they're like a little over 2K, but they're still not hitting that same threshold that the Eisenholm episodes kind of draw in for a crowd. So very quickly the focus shifted. I was like, oh, people like this. Well, this is way less editing on my part. I'll just do this as the main series and do Temporal Institute in little bits here and there. And I've gotten the sets well, I haven't rebuilt the old original set, but I've rebuilt, or for the first time, built a whole bunch of other sets. I just have to rebuild the old set at some point, or actually, film the third episode. I've had the script written
You mentioned
for
that
8
last
months.
time. You
Yeah.
still have it written and not a single drop of effort.
I still have to rewrite that script a little bit to update it
Oh
because
my
it was
god.
that was written before I realized I had to acknowledge the new animals that were missed that should have been in episode 2, because like the moose, the deer, elk,
Yeah, the
goats.
horned animals. Yeah.
Yeah, those weren't in there because this was 1.18 still when I put out the first two Temporal Institute episodes. So once 1.19 hit, I was like, oh, okay, I got to update the script somehow to acknowledge this. That, and I had
Yeah.
some crazy film techniques that I'm wanting to try out with episode 3 that honestly would just be easier if I had a team of people to have multiple characters on the screen at once instead of doing 3 or 4 takes of the
Yeah.
same shots. Yeah. One day.
One
One
day.
day. It's the clay forming one.
Have
One
you
of these days I get it done.
seen the new updates Tyron has been working on?
I have. With mounts, elk
Oh.
mounts. I think they alluded to maybe horses becoming vanilla.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
could
know what
be.
other animals. I hope moose gets included. I have
I
not
hope
seen
so
an
too.
elk near my base, but I have moose that spawn all the time. If I could have a pet moose,
Oh, dude.
I just my Canadian blood wishes for me to ride a moose into combat.
I would become. And then just have. Is maple syrup in the game yet?
No,
Just add
but I'm going to
maple
be using
syrup.
maple trees heavily.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
you get my drift.
Oh,
Yeah, no, that's I'm looking forward. Like, look, there's so much cool shit coming to Vintage Story.
yeah. Well,
Maybe
the
you
whole
could
thing with
use.
multiple boats and mobile bases, basically, like being able to set your spawn, I think is has been alluded to with your mount, as well
Yeah,
as a bunch of storage. So it's like you can go on these long journeys because they're
yeah.
having what 4 dungeons spread far away.
Oh, they
In
are.
addition to the Resonance Archive that's there. So these 4 dungeons, because they're going to require tons of travel, that's why they're working on land and sea travel and the ability to sustain yourself and have all of your resources
On
without having
you.
to just be like, oh, I got halfway there. Either my inventory's full or I'm out of food. Guess I got to go home.
Yeah, because I'm wondering how they do with food preservation again. Because for the people who don't know, if you don't have like food in a cold area and like storeroom, mostly on the ground is how I do it, sealed in a crock pot for the winter, you're screwed. Because like even the animals don't give the full amount of meat. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering if you're gonna go out on a journey with like the lakes being frozen, everything being frozen, and nobody getting food, how are you gonna survive?
Well, I mean, grain keeps for a long time.
Rain does, yes.
Yeah, because that's what got me through my first winter. I
That's
barely
true.
had any. I don't think I've had any more than maybe 2 decent hauls of meat,
Oh,
and
dude.
that's about it. Because I don't go out hunting. I'm too busy going and getting rocks and wood and building things. So going out and just shooting a bunch of animals and missing 90% of the time isn't really huge on the priority list. It should
No,
be,
I understand that.
but one day I'll get a bunch of meat. I've got 3 sealed crocs that I think are good for a little over a year in my cellar, but I'm currently on like the last one that's not sealed. So I'm gonna have to get more meat and make more food. Otherwise, I'll have to break into my winter preserves. And
Yeah.
it's July.
Yeah, don't. Never
No,
break into.
no.
We had a situation where we had, because I like to do towns, like we had the discussion about the project that we're not going to discuss on the podcast, but like that I like a good concept for like two civilizations against each other.
Yeah.
We had somewhat of a same thing where we had four civilizations.
So a
Because
tale of 4 cities.
Tale of Four Cities. I think I told you about this last time as well, where we had the Coffee Republic,
Yeah.
Pebbletown, the Hunter's Lodge, and
And the Hunter's Lodge wasn't hunting.
the Hunter's Lodge wasn't hunting. Indeed.
Yeah.
If you're watching, Rick, I know you're watching. Hunt. Yeah. So that was the dealio. And they ran out of food because they were constantly like, oh yeah, we'll just like right before the winter, we'll just put everything into crocs. Crocs? Cogs. Why am I saying cogs?
I don't know.
Maybe because of the
temporal
spinning
gears.
Yeah, temporal
Yeah.
gears.
Yeah.
So they were constantly like boasting about how much meat they had, and then
And it all
midwinter,
rotted.
all rotted immediately. Like somebody forgot to like. So the new
Meat
guy
only
was in
lasts like
charge
2
of
days.
like, yeah, well, so the new guy was in charge of digging out the basement and sealing all the crocs,
Oh my god.
and he didn't know how to do it, so he thought he did it, but he didn't. Meaning everything was
Oh.
unsealed in a basement, so it lasted for 6 days. That's why they were like, they only last for 6 days. We're like, no, ours says a year and 6 months.
Oh, just salt the meat or just cook it and seal it all.
Nope,
Come on.
they cooked it, they put it into crocs, but they didn't seal it
Oh. Okay,
because
well,
the new guy
that's
didn't know how to seal it. That was the issue. So we had to spend like a considerable amount of resources. Like we gave like 4 of our emergency ration pies, because we had like 6
man.
pies, and we had like, because like pies keep for a very long time. So we were like, okay, we're gonna, before we ever take the crocs off the wall, we're gonna make like a shit ton of pies and just like eat the pies.
Yeah.
And then we had to give like 4 of the 6 to them, and then we communally almost starved.
Oh man. Well, I mean, there's always bread.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
We
but it doesn't
didn't
give you
get to
meal
that.
bonus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we didn't get to that yet, because we were doing also something called the Winter Games, where every tribe would bring like food, and then the person who wins the games gets to take all the food home.
So while you were all starving,
Yeah.
you're like, you know what would be great instead of getting food? Let's
Yeah.
host the Olympics.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the most Greek thing to
Priorities.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, the thing was, we planned this before we ever were starving.
Yeah.
So
So it was just a coincidence that everybody
yes,
was that sucks.
because one of the games was hunting
Oh,
in the winter, because,
yeah.
funny. The
It's
other
like,
one was
we
ice
won't need
fishing.
the food.
No, we don't need the food.
Ice fishing. Oh, so you guys had primitive survival then to have fishing, or were you having to go under the ice and like find actual pink salmon or whatever is
I
the
think
only
you had to
salmon they
go
have in
under
game?
the ice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Fish are rare spawns too, from my experience.
Not for mine, but
Okay.
yeah, they're
Maybe
pretty
I'm just
rare spawns.
unlucky.
Mayhaps you are
Yeah.
a tad
Maybe I'm
unlucky.
blind to them and I just don't see them. I don't know.
Do you also like just need glasses?
Not since 1998 when I got laser eye surgery.
They had that in 1998.
No, 1998 I got glasses. What was this? 2012, 2010?
Oh, how is it actually? Is it worth
Yeah.
it?
It was for me.
Okay,
I
fair
went
enough.
from anything about 1.5 inches away from my face starting to get blurry, and then I couldn't recognize people
That's me.
unless they had like a very distinctive like colored shirt or something. I mean, after it stopped feeling like there was 1,000 eyelashes in my eyes, I could see great.
Yeah, that's how that feels. Speaking of like finally having
1,000
something good.
eyelashes?
No.
Oh, okay.
Finally having like good, right? Remember when we talked about that lore guy?
Yes, he dropped another video.
He dropped another video.
I saw that. Yeah.
Did you comment on it? Because I commented on him like when the world needed him the most, he returned.
Mostly returned. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I left a comment. I know I liked it.
I liked it too. I have yet to
Yeah.
watch it. Sorry.
I don't know if I
Gigutro.
fully agree with his theories.
I
but
haven't watched
At
it.
least he's trying.
I haven't watched
Oh.
it, so I need to watch it and then we can like.
I won't spoil anything.
No, don't. But like, it's funny. I like to think we manifested it into existence.
Yeah. It's oh man, did I mention this when we did the first recording of this? That what was it? Matt Reeves or Michael Reeves? The guy who does like he made the swearing Roomba.
No,
Yeah.
you mentioned, you said it to
Yeah.
me in a text. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. My wife and I were talking about he hasn't uploaded a video in about a year. Within an hour, he uploaded the first video in a year of him making a go-kart out of scooters. I was like, did we did we manifest that? So I feel like we might have done the same thing, talking about him making a lore video, and then
Yeah,
lo
we
and behold, there
manifested
it
it.
is.
You just
Yeah.
have some weird gift, man. You can manifest shit into
It's
reality.
the same thing happens when I'm playing a D&D game.
Oh boy.
I make it like an just offhanded joke, just throwaway line, and it ends up accidentally having the gift of prophecy.
The gift of prophecy has returned.
Yeah.
He has cometh once again.
It's, all you got to do is say something in a different voice, and then, you know.
It works.
Yeah. There's only so many times you'd be like, oh, I guess looks like the plague has returned to this city. And the DM stopping and saying, how did you know about the plague?
Mm.
What do you mean? Have you been reading my notes? No.
No. Like, it becomes
I just
very meta
guessed.
all of a sudden.
Yeah.
He gets actually pissed. Like, what the hell,
It
man?
happened with one particular group. It happened too many times to the point where the DM was like, okay, what have you done? What spyware do you have on me? I'm like, I'm just guessing. I make funny hee hee ha ha's.
Yeah. Don't shoot the pianist, and then he throws like a fully metal D100 at your face.
Oh no.
Take that, you cheat.
I use 2d10s like everybody else for my D100.
I use a full metal D100.
Ooh. That's pretty,
I got almost shot at an American airport for this.
Why?
Because they thought it was a bomb. Or a grenade, more accurately. Because it was next to a pin in my backpack.
Oh my god.
So it looked like a fucking grenade. And the guy was like, okay, you need to step aside, sir.
Oh.
And then he pulled it out. I was like, oh, dude, you play D&D? Awesome. Yeah.
Oh my god. You went from under threat
To
best friends
cool.
right away.
Because the guy with the fucking AR was like still standing behind me. Like, should I?
Do I kill a man?
Well, he wasn't pointing the gun at me. He was like just like holding it ready. You know what I mean? Like on arm. Yeah.
I hate airplanes.
Scary.
They're threatening.
Yeah.
They're weirdly overly threatening.
Especially
I went to
American
Vegas once
ones.
and I had money in my pocket, and they like did a full like pat down and everything. Like, what's this? I'm like, I'm going to Vegas. What do you think it is? It's a wad of 20s.
It's a wad of 20s, like 60-20 bills.
Yeah. Like, why do you have that? Gambling?
Gambling? Your
What
main export?
Yeah. I'm going to the roulette table.
I mean, in Europe, you're not allowed to like pat down everyone. You have to ask for their permission, and then but unless they're under arrest, right? Let's be clear here.
Then they have a right to be like, I'd rather not.
Yeah, exactly. And then they'll,
Nice.
but they will never like touch your taint.
Oh,
Never.
I mean, that's a good or a bad thing, I guess, depending on the person and what your desires are. I don't know.
I'm straight. I'm straight, and I went to an American airport, and the guy just groped my nuts.
I mean,
And then he gave me a
how they do in
fucking.
America.
And then he gave me a QR code to review him. The most American shit I can.
They didn't have those last time I traveled, but it's been a bit.
Literally,
They
I
did
was-
have the invasive touching, though. That's been a constant
Dude,
for
what the
a while
fuck?
there.
Like they chained me to a fucking bench. Then they were like asking me the same question the guy at the beginning said, and then said, "Oh, welcome to America, son." And then fucking chained me to a bench and was like, "Hey, let me just pat you down real quick. No knives, right? No, I'm like, no knives, no knives, no knives." And it goes like, "Whoop," and I'm like, "Ooh, there's definitely no knife there."
Oh my god. And
And it gives me a slip to
when
review.
I was coming back from Japan, I had to I'd bought a big Gundam. Like
Right.
the Gundam Red Stray model.
Yeah,
and
right.
The katana for it was
Right.
considered too long of a blade, even though it was just plastic like the rest of it. So I had to take that out of the box. I could take the rest of it as a carry-on, but I had to do a little cardboard box that was check luggage just for that one piece.
Yep.
It wasn't heavy enough to go through the plastic flaps. So luckily I checked and opened it up when I landed, and it came right out on the baggage carrier. And it's like, that's
Hilarious.
ridiculous. Yeah. So like there's a lot of, I understand why they have a lot of the safety regulations, but a lot of it seems like performative theater.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the last thing I want to touch upon is while your career as a YouTuber, right? If you want to
Yeah.
call it that. I hate calling myself a YouTuber.
It's well, YouTuber, there's been a whole bunch of different terms over the years for it, right? There was like content creators, and then people were like, I don't just churn out content. It became like an insult after a while, and things just evolved. And
A
I don't know.
creator.
Yeah, I think that's the one that's kind of stuck the best. Um, I'm not a fan of the terms like influencer. That just seems like someone who's just shilling products. I mean, it's
Yes.
not, but to me, the connotation feels like
Yeah.
I'm just here to sell you something.
I'm
Buy
here
this
to
product from my
influence you.
Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm not here to influence anybody. I'm just here to do silly voices and entertain people. And if people want to watch, great. I'd probably still be doing the same thing regardless if I had a camera in front of me or not.
Yep.
I'd be doing the voices to myself.
Yep, because I started doing my stuff because I kept ranting about the same stuff to all my friends, and they're like, "Okay, you need to make like either a YouTube channel and start about talking about this because we're getting tired of hearing the same old stories, old man."
Back in my day,
Remember?
Optifine used to work good.
You saw that video, did you?
Oh yeah.
I get a lot of comments, and I guess they're true, about like people saying like stretch it to 10 minutes just for the ad rev. I didn't, but it felt that way because
Yeah.
I
Was it
kept
just
going.
coincidental? Oh, if you're doing stream of consciousness, sometimes yeah, so you're going to stretch out a point. 'Cause you're
Well,
gonna
the thing
retread the
was,
same
me and
information.
Kiz at the time were like, okay, so you like animating stuff, I like messing with you, so I'm gonna keep calling you up in my scripts to make you do stuff. Like for instance, at some point we're like, okay, we're gonna dive deep, and then Kiz was like putting on the diving suit, and I was like, no, Kiz, not literally. I mean, it's a metaphor. Come on, man. You know, like those kind of callbacks, they're really fun
Yeah.
to do, but we
Yeah.
overdid it in that video, which
And then
caused
people
it.
thought it was like padding
Yes,
time.
a lot of
That's fair.
people told me it was padding time. Because here's a question I have for you: do you have any
Yeah.
negative comments? If so, how do you deal with them? Because I'm having a rough time right
Ooh.
now.
Okay. I've gotten a few. There's so the first negative comment that I got was actually on that first boiler room video. It's one guy who's I guess really unhappy with anyone trying to do like optimization or more like Minecrafty things in Vintage Story. And basically was just like, ugh, I hope this gets nerfed. He used more words than that, but basically was like, I don't like that you're doing this, and I hope that you fail.
Oh my
That
god.
one is the general gist of it. That one I just didn't respond to, which then made me learn about the wonderful YouTube comment section on YouTube Studio, where if you don't interact with a comment, if you don't heart it or
Yep.
respond to it,
Yep.
it never goes away. So I see that every time I open up the app. So I've become numb to that through exposure therapy. But there have been a few other ones. Like one guy said, "Hey, you don't have to do all those voices. It's kind of cringe." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I like it. Thanks for the comment."
Yep.
He's like, "What was his response?" It was like, "Dude, don't give me an earnest response when I'm dogging on you." I'm like, "That's all right, man. Not everyone's gonna like what I do." So
No, exactly.
it's something where like I was my highest university education's in acting for stage and screen, right? So I had to learn through that process that rejection is kind of just a big, if not the biggest part of anything in the entertainment sphere.
Hmm.
So not everyone's gonna like what I do. That's okay. If there's if there's a way that I can see it as a neutral or a positive spin, like with that comment about, doing my silly voices is cringy.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, I don't think it is. And if it is, well, do I care? No. I'm still gonna do it. I have fun doing it. So you just gotta don't let it get into your heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of a cheesy way of saying it, but it basically, yeah, just treat it like it's a neutral thing and either respond to it or forever see the comment every time you open up YouTube Studio.
Yes. So I started hiding people from my channel because of that feature from yeah.
So you just wouldn't see their comments anymore?
Yes, because I got if you haven't noticed, I haven't uploaded in the last month. I have, but I had to take down the last video because some people in the community were very upset with me, and because my opinions were formed on information that was outdated, and my vision was I was just touting an opinion. If it's wrong or right, it's just an opinion. But they did mention, like, at this point, I am a voice which is considered pretty large in the modding space to not, and I can influence some people into wrong direction, so I need to think what I say.
Can't just kind of spout from the heart. You got to do all the research first.
Yes, I do research. I do, but I do research in front, and I do let technical people review it. Like, for instance, Mose, I love you. Still does my reviews of my script to see if I have technical mistakes, but sometimes he doesn't have time, or I don't have the time to, or I'm late with the script, and because I do weekly uploads, I need to be on it. Recently Kiz also was busy, so I'm editing alone again, and I'm still getting to that stuff. So I'm getting a lot of
keep up with a weekly upload.
Oh, dude, I wish to. I have not been able to do that, but I got on a lot of negative comments, and they have eaten into my productivity to the point I used to react to them, but after the 60th time you have to explain to someone that you're just trying something new, you get tired of it. And it's
I haven't had that point with anything yet. I'd imagine if things keep growing the way that they are, eventually there will be a point where it gets to that. I guess the most common thing is I've gotten tons of comments, especially on that 100 days video, that I think is like sitting at like 150,000 views or something like that now. Of people asking, like, is this a Minecraft mod? Which is like, that's a completely fair question. I guess it's not really like a heckling type of thing.
Yeah.
I've had to come up with about 20 or 30 different ways to respond to that exact same question that's not a copy paste.
It gets tiring, yes.
It gets tricky. I'm surprised I've been able to find a slightly unique way to say it every time, but because I don't want to just start copy pasting responses to people, and I try to respond to every comment. But yeah, if you're getting a whole bunch of negative comments one after another, I can definitely see that not feeling good.
If I can be like we call it having a big neck, having an ego. If I can be the egocentric guy for a second, when you get to like my size, I also still respond to a lot of comments, but not everything. I just got into a new relationship as well, if I can get a little bit private. I don't work in the weekend. Thank you. We've been dating for 3 months now. I don't work in the weekends. I don't make my editors work in the weekends, but I upload on Saturday. So on Saturday, I have 1 hour where I check my phone, and for the rest of the weekend, my phone's off, because I believe when building a relationship of any kind, the phone is a detriment. If it's a friendship, it's a detriment, because you keep it's so easy to grab this and go like, I'm just gonna
mid conversation, just like, oh, what are my subs at now?
Yeah, exactly, like that. I stopped doing that. I work 8 hours a week, so that leaves me with 8 hours of doing household chores, doing my own stuff, doing Warhammer painting, because that is like a hobby I do to de-stress after a very stressful day of work, and then like doing scripting, researching, and voice acting, right? I don't really have the time anymore I used to have the time because I only got like 100 comments, you know what I mean? But now I'm getting like, if I refresh now, I'm getting a comment. Like I haven't uploaded in a month, and I still get wake up to like 20 new comments, you know what I mean?
That gets hard to keep up with,
Yes. And I do keep...
I think I've had like maybe 20 at most if I like make a new upload and fall asleep. Yeah.
It's a good feeling. I like I like interacting. That's why I have a Discord, because some people find it weird that YouTubers have Discords. I can agree. But I have that Discord because I want to have direct feedback. The issue is And that's what people told me as well. And your advice of like rejection is a big part of entertainment. I appreciate that. I will take that on with me. Thank you for that. But the
No
other
worries.
part of it is like the people who comment are usually the people who feel an extreme in any way. So if they're positive, they're
Either
gonna
good or bad.
yes. So it's very rarely that a neutral person will comment something. It's like they either really like what you're talking about or what your video was, or they really don't like and they don't agree with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's those
Most of
people.
the time for a neutral, they might like the video, or they might just watch whatever amount they want to. And then
Honestly,
they'll
how
go
much
check out another
videos
one.
do you like? Exactly. You don't.
Most of the vintage story ones that I watch, but a lot of them, no. It's like I
But you
went
still
through
enjoyed it.
an entire series. Oh yeah, I watched an entire 8-part series while I was like recording behind the scenes stuff, or like between the episode segments of a guy building a treehouse. That was like 4 hours of worth of video. Did I like a single one of them? No,
That's what I
because I
mean.
wasn't thinking about it. I was just having it on in the background.
The
I did
people
subscribe to the guy though, because
good.
I'm waiting for him
You
to
a
finish
real
that
man.
treehouse. That's a really nice looking treehouse.
I should watch that. That sounds good.
It's a new channel. It's the only 8 videos that he's got. Is the 8 parts of it so far.
You need to send me that link in a bit.
Yeah, I'll have to find that.
So the thing is, the people who interact with your videos are usually skewed either way. The neutral ones you never hear from. That's the issue that I have. Because I just want positive. I do get, and I always say this when people give me like constructive criticism. I always say, hey, thank you for your comment. This is the type of stuff I like. I thank you so much for just giving me constructive feedback instead of saying this video was shit. Because pro tip, if you like a content creator and you're like, hey, this video sucked, don't just comment this video sucked. Comment this video sucked because a big part of being an adult is the ability is your ability to explain why you are doing things, you don't like things, that kind of stuff. That is what differentiates you from a kid.
It definitely helps when it's constructive criticism, or at least like gives you a direction of like, okay, what did they not like, or in some cases absolutely detest? What can I change that is going to make it better in their eyes, right?
Yeah.
I think I've been pretty lucky so far that I haven't really gotten much in the way of anybody just being like, oh, this is garbage. And any of the comments that I could see being construed as just like negative or when I respond to them in just a positive way, 9 times out of 10, it's like, oh, okay. They just worded it a little strangely, but it was actually a good one.
Yeah.
So I think I've been exceedingly lucky. I know one day if I keep growing, probably won't be quite as lucky. But yeah, I probably won't be lucky enough to have only good comments for the most part. But you take them as they come. I think with the entertainment industry, it's 95% of the time you're being told no, or you suck, or you'll never make it. But you keep doing it for that 5% chance.
Yep.
Keep doing it for the nat 20.
The nat 20, baby.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, we both outperformed a large percentage of people who start YouTube. I think we can pat ourselves on the back.
That's the thing. I mean, it's a roll of dice. It's a crapshoot whether or not you're going to make it or not.
Yeah.
The quality of your content only matters to a certain extent. I mean, some people have gotten really big on objectively very poor quality videos just because they had a good personality or they got lucky. The algorithm decided like, hey, go for it.
There's this one guy, I love him to bits. Pancras No Work. He does a lot of Warhammer stuff. I have my Warhammer face. Let me be.
Yeah.
But he does just like pictures while he's talking, and he has like text on it. And meanwhile, he's sitting at 150k subs for a Warhammer channel. That's fucking huge. Like, it's not Luton, but it's huge. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm sitting here like animations and shit, and I'm like, what the? Why am I trying?
Yeah. And then you could have somebody doing like full, let's say like 3D animation, just full cinematic quality. We're like, this could be on TV.
Yeah.
And it gets like 200 views.
Yep.
You never know.
Yep.
It's
a roll of the dice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because we're touching on YouTube, I said this last time as well. Let's plays are dead.
to an extent. I think they have a very much more narrow audience these
Okay,
days than they
let me
used to.
rephrase that.
Yeah.
Growing as a Let's Player is much, much more difficult than any other content
100%.
creation form. Exactly.
Yes.
The reason
And
you
making
grew...
money on it, apparently.
Oh, yes. You don't have to tell me that, because people telling me I do it for the ad ref, you have not seen my ad ref.
I get $4 per 10,000 views.
I have one, if I'm lucky. Yeah, I have one if I'm
$1?
lucky. $1 per 1,000 views, if I'm lucky.
Oh my god!
And I'll talk open about that, because I
What
don't...
happened to me?
You make long videos, and
Oh, that'll do it. Yeah.
that's the thing. You also have a very... So, according to my network, having an older demographic also works. So here are some pro tips for you. Like, if you want to make money, I don't care about money. I'm well off already.
It's
so.
nice to help.
Dude,
Yeah.
of course. Like, okay, maybe
in
saying...
this economy, any little bit helps.
in
But
this...
yeah.
Maybe saying I don't care about money is wrong. I don't...
You're not in it for the money.
Exactly. I don't do this because of money. I do this because of passion, and you do this as well. The money is just a nice...
I do this because I want to build a castle.
See?
Yeah.
But the reason you grow...
vintage story. Yeah.
Exactly. The reason you grow, and the reason... Dude, I want an invite on my castle. You know that, right?
If I build a real one,
Yeah.
it's gonna have good Wi-Fi.
Okay. Wi-Fi in a castle? Holy shit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, gotta have access points through there. Like,
Okay.
if you don't have Wi-Fi, what's
you
the
know
point?
what? Hit me up. If I'm in Canada, hit me up.
If I ever win the lottery, I'm building a castle.
I'm gonna roll a dice and hope it's like, if it's 100, you're gonna win the lottery tomorrow.
Okay, well, I'll buy a ticket tonight then.
It's a 1. Anyway.
Never buying a ticket again.
No. No. But the reason you're growing and the reason I like your content, I told you this from the very start, is because you do something different. And that's all it takes in this space. You need to do something different and something unique. Not even unique. You don't need to invent a whole new way, because you kind of invented a whole new way of doing Let's Plays.
I feel like it's just accidentally almost a recreation of like the older Minecraft Let's Play style.
Yeah, but like refined.
Yeah, like a modern twist on an old classic, but better than what Disney's doing these days.
It's like what's it called? That one Pedro song that's on TikTok and stuff. Pedro,
like
Pedro,
a
Pedro, Pedro,
little
Pedro.
raccoon.
Yeah. That song.
Yeah.
That song is also like what they're singing is also from an old song. It's that.
Oh, okay.
You're
so
doing
it's just, a fresh coat of paint on something.
Yeah,
classic.
you're doing a remix, which works. It has been working for... Everything's a remix now.
Yeah, I was surprised that the voice acting section actually kind of took off. Because I only started doing that because the first couple videos I started to get a lot of comments of like, dude, are you a voice actor? I'm like, well, I mean, I've been trained to it, but I don't have credits on anything. Like,
I might actually hit you up for some video work, paid, of course, but we'll see about that.
I've had a few different. I've got a couple things I have to record for probably the next couple days here, but this actually gave me that push to start doing auditions again online because I
awesome, dude.
Yeah, I've got a couple roles. Don't know if I could talk about any of them yet, but
don't worry.
Previous to that, it's like, I don't know. I did fan dubs when I was a teenager and like into my early 20s, but that's about it. It's been a long time since I was a 16-year-old doing an Inuyasha voiceover.
Oh, dude, that is that's dark time.
Yeah. It was
brother.
easier for me to do the Inuyasha voice then. I don't know if I can do it anymore, and I'm afraid to try it right now.
I used to do
4 different tones before I hit it.
Probably. I used to do screamo. I think I told you last time.
That's
I did
hard on the larynx.
Yeah, I coughed up blood after one performance, and then I didn't do it again.
Don't do that. That's bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But what was that? What was the original point? Oh yeah, YouTube, right? I like my editor will cut around.
Tangents.
Yeah, the tangents will be fun. Maybe what I can do, like, just to get meta and I can cut it out, is like have the tangents as like a bonus thing later on. Like if the tangents get too much, I could just like cut around it.
Yeah. It might leave us with only like 5 minutes of actual
Oh, I
YouTube
mean,
and
we've
vintage
been
related
recording
content.
for an hour and 20 minutes, so I think we'll
Oh,
be
we're
fine.
fine. Yeah.
Maybe to round off, we both kind of did some weird stuff, and we kind of had success, quote unquote. Because I hate saying like we had success, because we're like, relatively speaking, we did good
Not
considering our
we're
size. Yeah,
okay so far. Yeah.
Is it
It's definitely it's a far cry from kind of just the lackluster stuff that I was doing
yeah,
8 or 9, 10 years ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
What everybody's doing. I don't think I think the important part about this conversation is to take away that there's no secret sauce.
No, not even a little bit. There's no secret McChicken sauce to success.
There's some luck
Uh,
involved.
yeah.
Sometimes there's some luck involved.
I think a lot of it comes down to just do something that you love to do, because you never know if or when it might actually pick up.
Yeah,
So you have to just like doing it for the sake of doing it, because you're going to
exactly.
be just doing it for the sake of doing it for a while.
Which is the point. If you're in it to be big, don't start. That's my biggest.
Yeah. It's the same thing with anything entertainment related. If you're in it to be rich and famous, get out of it.
Yep.
Just don't. If you're in it to never make a cent off of it and just do it because you absolutely love it and it just breathes life into you, go for it. Go full send.
Yep. And I think that's a nice note to leave it on. I've been Lunar. He has been.
I've been Solstin.
Solstin. I keep saying Solstin. And yeah,